Baby, want me do it, I be getting to the. Baby, want me do it, I be getting to the. Baby, want me do it, I be getting to the. Baby, want me do it, I be getting to the money. Know you hear the drums, I'm the Energizer Bunny. Took it from a jawline, put it in a tummy. I be smoking on hay, all my niggas getting scummy. Finish up the cookies, got some Henny on my breath. Don't know when it finished, there was plenty when I left. Touchdown, hitting any city, I finesse. Coke bottle bitty, plenty titty in a dress. Rockstar lifestyle, look at how we living. Niggas on the bus, they be hating cause we driven. Gotta make it work when you work with what you giving. Hard to get your healing when you hurting for attention. Praying over water, talking to the dead homies. Help me manifest it, know we got some bread for me. Bitch, I really did it, I'ma talk it how I live it. Popcorn pimping, turning corners on a pivot. I really talk it how I did do it. They sent the Addy and I slid to it. I pop my shit because I been through it. I'm monumental with the Mackin' and I been through it. I really talk it how I did do it. They sent the Addy and I slid to it. I hit the function with my gin fluid. It's members only, how the hell they let you into it? Baby, want me do it, hit a dab and hit a Dougie. Bitch, I been a problem since I hopped up out of Huggy. I been getting better, ain't no need for getting lucky. I be somewhere down in Texas, budget bigger than the Buc-ee's. Calling up the homies, bring a chaser when you coming. Never let them see the type of paper that you thumbing. Tryna get my future baby acres for they running. Courtside ballin' with a Laker and an onion. Amazon baby legs longer than a week. Gym in the crib, help her out with that physique. Internet niggas better practice what you post. I'm from where they poppin' Glocks and packaging the dope. Living on the leash, got you moving like a sim. Ballin' on the beach, I be chewing on the shrimp. Winning my division, picture losing to a limb. Speaking country grammar, got her choosing on a pimp. Hey, I really talk it how I did do it. They sent the Addy and I slid to it. I pop my shit because I been through it. I'm monumental with the Mackin' and I been through it. I really talk it how I did do it. They sent the Addy and I slid to it. I hit the function with my gin fluid. It's members only, how the hell they let you into it?
I am grounded. I am solid. I'm thankful for my gifts. I'm thankful for the ability to be able to continue to work on me. I'm thankful for inner peace and prosperity.
For my real rap niggas, man. We tired of that bullshit, man. Retire that. They don't really wanna hear the truth no more. Think they scared how I make them feel. And you can say anything you want about me. I ain't worried, that don't make it real. They don't really wanna hear the real no more. Think they scared how I make them act. And you can say anything you want about me. I ain't tripping, that don't make it fat. Look, coming live from the gutter like a cold puddle. When niggas water whipping, road shuttle, motherfucking whole huddle. Dutch burning, moving slow, I'm feeling like the minute hand. All wishes granted to me, turning in a tenant van. Been the man, never question nothing that was in the plan. See it from my third eye vision, so I understand. Poolside, plotting moves like a dance team. 100 band scheme, in the dirty with my hands clean. Never been the type of nigga they could castrate. 5th grade, I was selling candy to my class.
All right. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. We got another great show for you with another powerful guest, this time from my neck of the woods, St. Louis, Missouri. With that being said, let me do my usual greeting before we get into our bill. Let me say God bless to all the Christian brothers and sisters out there. Let me say Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters out there. Let me say Shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to all my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say peace to all my brothers in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. Let me say what's up to all my Abo brothers and sisters. Let me say salute to all my atheist brothers and sisters. And finally, let me say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you, and I hope that you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting, and we can have unity without uniformity. And we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. With that being said, my brother, please reintroduce, or not reintroduce yourself, but introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Hello, my name is Kuhani Mwadilifu, and I've tell you a little bit about me. The first time where I got a voice on Black YouTube, aka the conscious community, was the pseudo killers. Shout out to them. I've been in this community for a year. I've done two shows on Netter's channel. I've done one show on Dr. Mayat's channel. I've done one show on Rakeem Shabazz channel, Wise the Dome, and I've been on Tiffany French's channel. And so I've been all around, and I've also been on Garfield's channel whenever I ask questions about the Bible, because he's like the greatest Christian apologist, on Black YouTube, and I really respect the scholarship, you know. And you know, I've just been around for a year, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that that this show will be my swan song to Black YouTube. I've really had fun. I've made a lot of good friends, and I'm just here to have fun.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And shout out to my brother Teddy Seneferu. That again, that's another St. Louis brother, fellow Dagger Squad brother. And shout out to my man Garfield. So with that being said, you said your swan song to Black YouTube. Elaborate on that, if you will.
You know, this is going to be my last video on Black YouTube. I think I've done, honestly, like with the videos I've done on the respective channels. I think that I've done enough. You know, people they were already kind of they knew about people that they've never known before. So I don't really have that much to do anymore. I've ran out of ideas. So I
Oh
think
man,
it's good to end on.
hey, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I'm gonna try to talk you out of retirement since I know you and you from the Lou too. Hey, we can be live and in person in some spots. So I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna try to talk you out of retirement. Just FYI. So just keep that in the back of your head. I'm definitely gonna try to talk you out of retirement. So just I respect your decision, but I'm still gonna try to ease you. I'm gonna try to Michael Corleone you and pull you back in. So just know that. But go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I think it's good that I ended on I ended on this channel because me and you we from the same place, so
No
it's
doubt.
like it's good. I look at it as giving back.
No doubt. No doubt. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. And so we can get into the bill with regards to can Pan Africanism can a Pan African ideology push Black people forward in power in 2023? Uh, First of all, how do you define Pan Africanism?
um, in my opinion, Pan Africanism it's very simple. It basically means that that Black people, African people, all around the world look at people. I mean, look at other Africans in the diaspora as one. If we work as one conglomerate, to serve each other's best interest.
Okay, okay, and why do you think that's a difficult concept for most of us, or I'll say majority of us in the diaspora?
I think it's a big problem mainly due to the fact of we're still dealing with the ravages of the colonial chokehold. You know, we have African Americans right now who, you know, are more patriotic than the people who, you know, honestly made this country. And, you know, the culture, you know, of the colonies is like, it's, I think it has a very crazy hold on the people who live there because, you know, when we really like think about it, like we were not brought and spread across the four corners of the earth to be citizens.
That's
And that
facts.
is something that is very hard for us to grapple with. And W.E.B. Du Bois, in his work, The Souls of Black Folk, which is not being read by a multitude of our people, that we have something called the double consciousness. And the double consciousness means that we know that we're not African. I mean, we know that we're African, right? But then at the same time, every now and then, we're being told that we're not actually from our collective colonies. And it kind of, it messes with our minds. And it's prevalent all throughout, you know, movements across the diaspora. Still there?
My apologies. My daughter had called, so yeah. I'm with you, and I feel like that it's a disconnect from from those of us who kind of, like we happy and we proud to be in America, because we benefit from these uh freedoms, uh and the ability to criticize the government, freely, right? But then there's also an illusion of inclusion that I think our people get caught up in, that 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 they don't realize there is certain limitations for us, regardless of how much money you can make, how many strides you make, how many people smile in your face, and things of that nature. It's only so far that you can go when your complexion doesn't match a certain reflection to certain people. And I think that we forget that.
We do. We do because it's like, you know, I used to have the double consciousness myself, right? Up until it was really drilled into my head that we were not brought here to be American citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Say that one more time.
You know, it. You know, I used to have that double consciousness in my head. You know, myself. You know, I used to look up the celebrities who could be, you know, billionaires, trillionaires, all of that. But then it's like we weren't brought here to be citizens. You know, we were brought here to be worked to death. You know, and once I really understood that, I was like, you know, I mean, my ancestors were kidnapped. You know, we're not supposed to be here.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like Farrakhan. My favorite musical artist, period. And I listen to all genres of music. Country, rock. You know what I mean? All of that. But of course, my main genres are R&B, blues, and hip hop. And my favorite artist is Tupac. And his song, "The White Man's World," he has audio of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from the Million Man March, where he says the seal and the Constitution. That quote where he says, "This was to be a nation for white people and by white people. Native Americans, blacks, and all other non-white people were to be the burden bearers for the real citizens of this nation." And that hit so hard because you realize this country was not intended. It wasn't built with us in mind. It was never intended to include us in the principles that it's supposed to uphold. They never intended for us to benefit from the freedoms that they were fighting for from the British. That was never a thing. And so when we look at that, and then we kind of we pull forward to 2023, you got to realize 1865 was only 200 years. It wasn't even 200 years ago. Like, people talk like that was 500 years ago, 600 years ago. It wasn't even 200 years ago. And so it's a lot of work that have to be done in order to supersede that kind of deep-seated hatred for people. When you look back well after slavery was over and you see these pictures of men who have been burned and hanged and pieces of their body have been given away as souvenirs, and you see these people gathered, you see men, women, and children, white faces, smiling at these gatherings, like these barbaric scenes. You see smiling faces, and it's like, wait, like, and these people had children, and their children had children. And while we know some of them probably said, "Hey, I ain't with that," how many of them carried that same mentality on? And I feel like that's what we face with. So when I see people just say, "Nah, Pan-Africanism ain't gonna work," I don't even know why we trying to do that. It's kind of weird to me, because so you would rather embrace a legacy of hatred than to try to unite with your own. But elaborate on that before we get to the second question.
See, what it seems to me, and this is just like what I've been reading from like Eric Williams and his voluminous work on the slave trade, and a lot of work in the on slavery in the diaspora. What I tend to notice is it seems that America's relationship with Black people, with African people, is almost like the relationship between an abusive spouse towards the other spouse that's getting abused. Because every now and then the abusive spouse might be very nice to the person that they're abusing, and they may think it's all good, but then every now and then they get hit in their nose or their lips, etc. And it's like, it's very weird. It's something that I still can't necessarily grapple with. Like, it's very, it's interesting that
Yeah.
that even today, there's a certain sector of African Americans who are trying to create a whole new ethnic group name. And I'm just like, this is interesting.
Yeah, you look, when you say it's like it's akin to a spouse that's in an abusive relationship, you hit the nail on the head, because we have Black people who have fully bought into the American dream, but when you talk to somebody like yourself who is a Pan-Africanist, they would just outright deny any functionality to a Pan-Africanist ideology. My brother Najiti, powerful brother in his own right, says, how do you deal with the fact that Black people were in the Americas before the transatlantic slave trade? I'm not sure what exactly he alluding to, and hopefully he'll be one of the people who can come on when we open it up. But I'm not sure what Black people he talking about.
Yeah, because Africans, specifically West Africans, were not seafaring people.
Yeah,
For real, you only had river boats and fishing boats. The boats weren't strong enough to survive the currents in America. Like the only people that came over here basically in America were the Vikings. You know, they came over here before Columbus with like Leif Erikson and all them cats.
right.
So I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about the Olmec? I mean, he probably one of these Native American black people, which is fine. You know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what he alluding to. Like I say, hopefully he can jump on and we'll find out. But yeah, that's interesting that that question, because and listen, I don't know if West Africans made it here prior to the transatlantic slave trade. I know it's some talk that Mansa Musa's brother attempted to. And that's actually how Mansa Musa came to be king, because his brother was actually the one who was in line to be king. Again, I don't know if that's a fact. You know, some talk of Christopher Columbus saying that he encountered Ethiopians, which was a stock word for all Africans. They talk about the cocaine pharaohs and all of that. The only thing that I know is that my DNA and most of the people who I know DNA goes back to West Africa. Now, most people, I know my Israelite brothers, my Abro brothers and sisters have said that DNA is fake and things of that nature. I don't know how they come to that conclusion. So those are some topics and some dialogues. That's why I say I gotta get you. I can't let you retire yet, man, because I need you in these conversations, man. Like, but these are the conversations that come up. Like my brother Captain K from ISUPK, again, right here in St. Louis. School is right there on Delmore. So he says that DNA is fake. And so when my DNA gives me that composite of these different African peoples and European peoples to the tune of 10% that make up who I am, he says that's fake. I don't know how he comes up with that, but that's what he says. So just elaborate on that for a second, and then we're gonna get to the second question.
The DNA portion?
Yeah, and some of these ideas about like these separate identities that have been sort of established or created. Because I'll be honest with you, I have a theory of my own, and it goes back to a quote from one of my favorite people in Black history, Franz Fanon. And
I love him.
He says there is a existential deviation where, as a result of the removal of language and culture of origin, the Black individual and the Black collective have had to simultaneously define and redefine identity, culture, and existence. And I think this idea of I'm an Israelite, I'm a Moor. I'm the tribe of Shabazz. I'm an Abo. I'm whatever except who I am. Is a result of that existential deviation that France Fanon talks about. Peace and power to my brother in Yame, and this is another powerful brother who, if you haven't built with him, you gotta build with him before you retire. Like it's so many powerful brothers who you still gotta build with, my brother. But whenever I see Nyame in the chat, I gotta play this. So hold on for 1 second.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
So yeah, that's a powerful brother there, and yeah, I just think that's kind of what we dealing with. So talk about that existential deviation, because I know you're a Fanon fan, so you already know I've been paying attention. But elaborate on that, and then we'll get to the second question.
Okay. I would say when looking at the so-called Black intellectual age of African Americans, specifically in New York, what I tend to notice is that it's an ideological battle of identity crisis. You got the Hebrew Israelites. I be listening to the Hebrew Israelites sometimes. I'm not trying to disrespect them or nothing, but it's like all the ones that I listen to on YouTube, they kind of confuse me to an extent because, they all, there's one camp that says that these groups are Israelites. One group says that God's name is said like this. It's confusing. But I look at a lot of these, like the 5%ers, they're talking about, the Asiatic black man. It's a battle of identity crisis. And, that's a that's a problem, you know, because it's like, if I'm like a, Pan-Africanist, it's going to be hard to, actually build or do something with a black person who says I'm, the Asiatic black man.
Yeah.
I mean, where can we just draw the line and hold it? So it's really always been a battle of identity crisis.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's I don't know, man. It's kind of difficult to sort of figure out how do you get around these different groups and some of the rhetoric that they put forth when what they saying is summarily false, but at the same time respecting their particular line of thinking and understanding that it comes from, as Fanon said, a loss of or the removal of language and culture of origin, and having to simultaneously define and redefine identity, culture, and existence. Like this is a battle for their very existence that they involved in. And so you kind of have to respect the trauma that and how they dealing with it with regards to manufacturing these paradigms, but at the same time knowing that it's a false paradigm. You kind of, it's like a balancing act that you have to kind of come up with. Shout out to my queen Sakina Ra, Hotep sis. And it's difficult, but we, again, that's why I'm saying, man, don't retire on me yet, because we, it's still some analysis that got to be had, man. I'm gonna keep saying that, But let's get to this second question.
Let me just add one more thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Even I'll do you one better with Fanon because I studied Fanon I studied Fanon when I first went to college,
Okay.
and Fanon also says under a system of colonialism, tribalism is enforced.
Hey,
So you see a lot of brothers and sisters out here
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
under a system of colonialism, tribalism is enforced. So it's like we got a lot of brothers and sisters out here that's harming each other over dogma.
Yeah. 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 Fighting each other. Like, and you notice at the beginning of the show, I name all of these different groups because I'm trying to do whatever little part I can to try to get us to push past these labels: Christian, Moor, Muslim, Kemetic, atheist, 5%er, Israelite, Abo, all of these different labels that we began to fight over, push past that and come together under the auspices of we black. And that police that's gonna harass my son because he big as me and he look intimidating and he black, don't care if he an Abo. He don't care if he an Israelite. He don't care if he a 5%er. He cares that he's black. The white man is not gonna give him a job opportunity or whatever the case may be as it relates to the plight of black people. They don't care what ideological paradigm you coming from. And that's my point. I don't care what you believe as a black person. If you black, you welcome to come on here and speak your speech. And so that's why I shout out all those different groups, because I don't care what you believe. If you black and you trying to push black people forward in power, come on the show and speak your speech. We can argue about whether it's correct or incorrect amongst ourselves, but at the same time, you still welcome to come on and say what you got to say. And so that being said, let's get to this second question. Can Pan-Africanism push us, as in black people, forward in 2023? Why and why not?
Yes, I think that it could push us forward in 2023 because, and I'm going to go back in history for a second, right? As case studies. It seems what I noticed is that the great Gerald Horne, Dr. Gerald Horne, is quoted to have said that the wisest amongst us have always tried to internationalize our struggle. And I'm going to go and use case studies. When I look at all of the greats who were Pan-Africanists, what I tend to notice is that they wound up living a rather comfortable life. Like they didn't really deal with assassination attempts up until they started to ally themselves with communist governments. But the ones who were strictly Pan-Africanists, for my people, they always wound up, living besides the ones who were like, we're Americans too. They're the ones that's, getting hurt the most, you know. So it seems that it's honestly the safest option, ideologically speaking.
Okay. And
I could give Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture. He, wound up. I mean, he died of prostate cancer, but he was pretty much okay. Robert F. Williams, the author of Negroes with Guns, he got invited back to China once every 3 years when he left China in like the 70s.
Okay.
Who else? Um, Trying to think. Even Paul Robeson, even though he identified heavily with the Communist Party and did have assassination attempts, he was still a Pan Africanist. They weren't really worried about him in his later years. Uh, Even the AME Church, you know, we know about their work. Even the Masonic lodges, we know about their work. A lot of these people were Pan Africanists, and none of them was, assassinated at all. I mean, you would think that the ones that screamed unity amongst Africans everywhere would be the first to get taken down.
Right.
But they winded up living to another day. Even one of our greats, John Henry Clark, diehard Pan African. Nothing happened to him. I mean, he just got older, lost his sight, but he still had a pension. Nobody was really trying to get at him like that. They was trying to get at him intellectually,
Mm-hmm.
but he wound up living to another day. So I think that it's the safest option.
Okay. Okay. And hey, listen, I agree strongly with that assessment. And so listen, I think that this is something for the people who say it's not practical to be a Pan-Africanist and that you can't apply it. I think these are some things that they would have to think about and consider. Let's jump to question 3. How does Black history inform our current paradigm in America?
I would say, and I'm quoting John and Clark here, that history is a clock that tells people its political time of day. It is also a compass which tells people who they are, what they are, and what they should do. A relationship to a people and its history is the same relationship as a mother to her child.
Okay.
So I think
Okay.
it is very important for African people to understand why we are in this condition, who put us in this condition. And I mean who, it's several entities and you know, several entities that put us in this position. And I think that if we sit down and we study hard enough and we put theory into practice, we will officially understand where we stand in the world. Because it's still people out here with their heads spinning like the exorcists out here.
No doubt. No doubt. And I think too, when you say who put us in this situation, uh, elaborate on why it's important to sort of have that distinction, because what I've seen a lot is when we start talking about certain elements of history, we have a lot of people who look like you and I that will say Africans sold Africans into slavery, without giving the context that these were different people, different people groups, different cultures, different locales who were fighting for the same resources, who came into conflict with each other and took prisoners of war. A member of the Ashanti didn't sell a fellow member of the Ashanti into slavery. The Dahomey didn't sell they people into slavery. The people of Whita weren't selling they people into slavery that I know of, because I know the people in white that did some shiesty stuff. But elaborate on some of those talking points where it's kind of like they like to point the finger back at us for the things that have happened to us, even with regards to police brutality. It's kind of the same talking points, and this is coming from other black people. The same black people who will say Africans sold Africans will say, when you bring up a police killing an unarmed black person, well, what about black on black crime? So talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to address the Africans sold other Africans into slavery issue, right? Or maybe address the African servitude first, and then I'll go into the African sold other
Okay.
Africans. What you tend to notice, and this is just what I've read from Basil Davidson, the greatest scholar on Africa there will ever be on this planet. He has written in excellent literature about how other Africans interacted with one another when it came to war, when it came to slavery, etc. Right? And what you tend to notice is that most of the time, but not all, but most of the time, you tend to notice that, like, let's say that your tribe winds up defeating my tribe, right? And you wind up capturing me in the process. I become the butler, and eventually, that I've made a good impression on you and your family. That it gets to the point to where I could marry one of your family members, and then in turn, I'm a part of that tribe. That I'm a part of your tribe, you know. And I'm saying that it didn't happen. I mean, it happened most of the time, but not all, because we have to also, still keep in mind that Africans, were still captured and still are homesick, but your rights wasn't taken away. You weren't a animal was not worth more than you, like they were in European chattel slavery. It's two different systems that work. And then when I hear that argument of Africans sold other Africans into slavery, what it seems like is that they're trying to justify cultural and physical genocide of African people everywhere. And then another thing you asked, what Africans sold other Africans into slavery. Um, we have, and I'm quoting Walter Rodney from his pamphlet, West Africa in the Atlantic Slave Trade. He says some historians will go as far to say that Africans, sold other Africans into slavery, which is true, but we have to understand that that was a European phenomenon. They were the ones who had came into Africa, and specifically the Portuguese and the Spanish, and they were fighting over multiple territories around the world, and the Pope had summoned both Spain and Portugal, and you can get this information from Eric Williams's work, Capitalism and Slavery. It's in the first three chapters. So Spain and Portugal both go to the Pope, the leading arbitrator of the day, the number one person in Europe with the greatest authority. He says, "You two good Catholic nations, stop fighting amongst yourselves. You are both authorized to reduce to servitude all infidel people." And so when we look at the religion of our ancestors, we weren't Christian. So you know what that means. So people tend to leave that part out. This is in the papal bulls. The Pope says this. This is Pope Martin. But if I'm getting it confused, you can find it in the first three chapters of Capitalism and Slavery.
Okay. And that's me. It's definitely important to to put that knowledge out there because so many of our people have absolutely no idea. Like you would be well, no, you wouldn't, but you'll be shocked to a degree that so many of our people just don't know who some of the people. I like. I got a cousin who's 54, 55. He didn't even know who France Fanon was. Had no clue. I was like, but then I had to kind of check myself because I didn't find out who he was till I was in my 30s. I'm 46. I'll be 47 in October. So, and if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
24.
You 24. So I have two kids who are older than you. I have a daughter, two daughters who married with children that are older than you. So the fact that you know who these great black scholars are, these great black activists are, or is super important and super impressive to me because a lot of our youth have no clue who these individuals are. And again, that's another reason why I need you not to retire for a while, man. Don't retire until you're like 30. But but yeah, it's definitely important for us to put that information forth. And you being 24, having the and you can actually have the ear of these young people and show them it's not boring, it's not lame, it's not stupid to know this history and know who these people are and know the impact that they made and the contributions they had to our history. So your voice is 1000% important in case you kind of start feeling like with nobody hearing you, your voice is 100% important because we need youth to get to other youth. And so let's get to that third question.
Let me just add something.
Go ahead.
Um, I would say that, we have to, um, well, I'm going to put that in the context of why I know these great activists. Um, I have been under the tutelage of real black activists. And, I can remember when I would hang out with a few of them. I'm not going to say their names just out of protection. They're not bad people or anything, but I just want to keep certain things, private.
Right.
I could remember when I would be in their offices or, call them, they'll be like, boy, read Fanon, read Black Activism by Richard Robert H. Brisbane, watch the Leon Trotsky documentary on Netflix that they have. And, they would just have me read these books and watch these documentaries, and they would assess my understanding of it. So my training is different. My intellectual training is different from the average 24-year-old because, not a lot of people are trained by well-known activists internationally. So, so I think that it's important that, as you said, I'm going to try in the future to get to the youth because it's like, all you have to do is just, I mean, you could get to them too. All you have to do is just talk to us in a language that we understand. Because one thing that I'll say about the so-called black community that I admire is the fact that a lot of us, we tend to have our BS detectors. We know if somebody is real or not. And, you have to have a certain level of conviction. Like, with me, I mean, I speak basically the King's English because of my Shakespearean background. And I could talk to them like I'm talking to you right now. They'll still listen to what I'm saying because they know that I'm saying the correct stuff. So certain things we have to put in place for the next generation. And also, we cannot allow, we can't, we have to, I would say, almost homeschool to an extent like the next generation. Like, not homeschool in the way of taking them out of school, but let's say your children or your grandchildren, you know, way of
Yeah.
taking them out of school. But let's say your children or your grandchildren, you know, what happened? Out of school. But
I hear
let's
an
say
echo.
children or your grandchildren, you know, what happened? Out of school. You hear what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Okay, I had another window open. I got it. You good? Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm not saying that we should take our children out of school, but like let's say you have, you said you got grandchildren, right?
Oh yeah, I got two grandkids. Yes, sir. Three
Like
grandkids. I'm sorry.
how old are they, if you don't mind?
So I have one. He's only a few months old, so he basically a newborn. But then I have two with my oldest daughter. Bella is 6, and then her brother will be 5. So super young. And so I be you know me. I'm whispering certain stuff to him and talking to him about certain stuff, already. So yeah, kind of just trying to start early.
I would, recommend, reading them a children's book on George Washington Carver, the inventor of peanut butter.
Yeah,
Like,
that's excellent idea.
yeah, just a little 5-page children's book so they already know when they're done learning their shapes and patterns. The person that got me through hungry times, uh, is a
Eh, the sweet potato too, didn't he?
really?
I think so. I think so. I'm not 100%. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I think so. I want to say yeah. I'm,
Man,
I'm,
I
I'm,
love
I'm
me some sweet potatoes, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm googling it now, but I want to say he has something to do with the sweet potato. Maybe not, but I heard that somewhere. So uh, just to make sure, I'm gonna look it up and see see uh, see if that's true. But nah, that's an excellent suggestion. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, we just start
So,
them off small, and then once they hit 13, 14, then that's when Fanine comes in.
yep. George Washington Carver discovered more than 100 uses for the sweet potato and a variety of southern plants.
Shout out
So,
George Washington Carver. You got us through some hungry times, man. I love sweet potato fries. Ooh wee.
yeah, I got, that got to drop a bomb for ancestors. So, yeah, that's an excellent idea, man. And I'm definitely gonna do that. So I said let's get to the third question, but it's actually the fourth question. So is it disrespectful to our Christian ancestors to deny their faith's role in their fight for liberation?
I would say no,
Okay.
because from a Christian perspective, we shouldn't be concerned about disrespect towards deceased loved ones, because according to the Christian faith, the deceased has no dealings with the physical and material world.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Grand opening, grand closing. So there you go. There you go. And with regards to, I loved the PowerPoint you and Tori did, and shout out to Tori. I know he get a lot of flack, and he'll tell you. I when we inbox, I tell him, hey man, you got to do you. You got to go through whatever steps and development you have to go through personally. Don't let nobody try to pressure you. I don't care who it is, and into feeling a way about whatever decision you made, because that's your journey to take. But shout out to the young brother. But I love the PowerPoint and the presentation that y'all did on Black liberation, because it didn't just stick with Christianity. It showed all of these different Africans and how they used theology of all sorts to galvanize a spirit of liberation. Talk about that briefly, and then we'll get to the next question.
I would say, first things first, that I regret that whole entire presentation that me and Brother Corey did together, because now I'm a staunch atheist.
Okay.
And, as I've grown older in my history studies, gotten better, I've found that, and I'm quoting Dr. John Henry Clark on this, he says, no other people will be free so long as their God concept is given to them by another people. And so I do not think that it is good for African peoples, psychologically speaking, to be infatuated and practicing foreign religions that have nothing to do with us. And I regret that entire presentation. Um, I, I regret it, but it's just I don't think that it's in the best. I don't think it's best for us. It's just like African American boy only growing up, looking at white characters and there is no black superhero. It's the same effect when it comes to spirituality. Even though I'm an atheist and I don't believe that the creator is real, I think that it is better for us psychologically if we're not going to be atheists. Number one, we should probably create our own religion. Or number two, we should try to go back to African religions. Like we could do something as simple as ancestral veneration. I venerate my grandfather. Ooh, I'm about to get a little emotional, but I venerate my grandfather, every day because he passed in October. And
Okay.
one heirloom that I wanted from him, you know, I wanted his chair that always sat. And every time that I walk by that chair, it's like I always say, thank you for looking out for me, granddad. That chair always reminds me of him. And so, but I believe that if we can't we can learn about other people's spiritual customs, but I don't think it's in our best interest to practice it, even if we try to mix, like, Sufism is so called on the rise now with a lot of African American Muslims. Like, no, like, you still, worship Allah. Like, no, we can't afford to be worshiping other people's political systems. I mean, we can't be afford to worship using another group of people's religious system. I don't think it's not practical for us psychologically.
Okay. Okay. And it shout out to my Dagger Squad brother Kyle. I see you, God Body, Marlon Simmons in the building. And Kyle said power is the ability to define phenomenon and make it work in a desired way. That being said, we as a collective can't even deal with reality. And that's what's up. And that's a true statement, because, and that goes back to, as we were talking about earlier, these, I'm a Hebrew, I'm an Abo, I'm the tribe of Shabbat, all of these different, these made up identities, so to speak. And so I feel you to a degree on that. I still thought that was a powerful presentation though. Go ahead.
I want to add one more thing as well. Um, Even France Fanon, And this is something that people don't like to address. But even France Fanon winds up saying in Wretch of the Earth that, the colonialist bourgeoisies will always calm down the native by the inevitable religion. All the saints are brought up, and we are told to kiss the other cheek or, do whatever that, religion that is foreign to African people to command. And that's generally how they get us. So we definitely need to leave these foreign systems alone and just,
Yeah, yeah. And with that being said, have you talked to Brother Tory recently?
yes, I talked to him a few days ago, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get him on here too, man. Is he still doing the Israelite paradigm?
You said what?
Is he still doing the Israelite thing?
Yeah, I've tried to talk him out of it. And I'm just like, I don't have a problem with, my brother trying to find himself or anything of that nature because he kind of reminds me of, he reminds me of me when I was in middle school.
Hmm.
I always tell this all the time that, back when I was in middle school, while everybody was trying to find themselves through a way of certain attractions, right? Let's keep it at that, like certain attractions. I was out here converting to Islam. I had the Islamic prayer beads. Have you seen the show Oz, by the way?
A long time ago.
Remember the character Kareem Saeed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's exactly how I looked when I walked around in middle school.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you
So
was representing, huh?
yes, I was, man. I remember I did my shahada and everything, but then I grew out of that due to, history telling me that this isn't conducive for me psychologically. But I think that my brother Tory is kind of, it's good he's trying to find himself, but I think he's doing it the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah, and we that I know, man. Y'all young, but y'all intelligent brothers. Y'all powerful, and I just think that everybody got to find their own path, and that's why I used to get a little upset when I would see people trying to beat the young brother up. Hotel to my big bro, Black Lion Supreme. Uh, and so that's why I would encourage the brother to, hey, find your own path and figure things out for yourself. Don't let nobody badger you into making a decision about yourself and what you want to do. That ain't the way to go. And so but I think both of y'all are definitely intelligent young brothers that we need in this community to help bridge that gap to our younger people. So let me get to this fifth question. Uh, does Black liberation theology? You just kind of answered it, which we're saying that you regret that presentation, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Does Black liberation theology and Pan Africanism go hand in hand?
I would say that the only um, religion that black people honestly need to follow is, or even theology rather, the only religion slash theology that African people across the diaspora should follow is the religion slash theology of Pan Africanism, because we need to start putting more belief into ourselves than uh, certain deities that have nothing to do with us historically. So we need to put all the faith, all of the praise in ourselves. And I think that once we do that, that's like 95% of the battle.
Okay. Okay. And last, this is the last question, and then we can open it up to the chat if you want. Uh, what is your vision for the future of our people, both in the United States and abroad?
Hmm. I want you to cut your camera back on so I can see you because I'm about to say something real heavy.
Give me one. There we go. Come on.
All right. So I would say that before we get to Pan Africanism, what African people all around the world need to start doing is doing one simple thing. And you know what that one simple thing is?
Speak on
What's up, brother? How you doing?
it. Hey, hey, I agree 100%, bro. I agree 100%. If I could give you a 21 gun salute, I would give you. That is the realest shit ever. That is the realest shit ever. Real talk. Real talk.
Because I think with a lot of, and even with, we all went through this stage of being intellectuals. We wake up at point A, but then we want to switch to point Z. Point Z is Pan Africanism. We need to get we need the number one. We need to get comfortable with each other, man. Like, why is it that when we bump into each other, like it could turn into an N-word moment off the boondock?
Off the flip.
Like, we have no tolerance towards each other at all. Even Frantz Fanon talks about it. He says that when you look at the native is quick to fight another native over a glance, meaning N-word while you looking at me, and then it causes problems. Like, this is why black on black violence is really bad. Like, black people, we've been socialized and domesticated over a 500-year period to hate what we see every day. We need to get comfortable with each other, and then once we're able to say hi to each other, then that's when we rebuild the African family, because the African family has been destroyed since the slave trade. And then once we get into that, where we start making families and we're comfortable with one another, then we can get to Pan Africanism, which is point Z. Because then once we love each other, then we start looking at all of each other as the same. But I think, we need to just start saying hi. Like, what I notice is when I'm on, at college, right? It could be the most, I don't know, the most unpositive group of black people that, I might see, just doing some unpositive stuff, right? And I be saying, hey, how you doing, brothers and sisters? They wound up being like what? Like, even, I had a friend of mine who even told me, he said, man, it's hard to hurt somebody when that person called you brother or sister.
Right.
So we need to be comfortable with each other. 'Cause that's the beginning of Pan Africanism right there. We need to start loving each other, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. And look, so hey man, you killed it again. Hey, this brother is only 24 years old. Just imagine the bombs and the wisdom he gonna be dropping when he my age, 46 years old. So in 22 years, just imagine the wisdom that he gonna have if he stay on the trajectory that he on now. That being said, family, I dropped the link If you got a comment for the brother, if you disagree, if you agree, if you just want to shout him out, give him props. If you want to encourage him, like I am, because the brother said this was going to be his last engagement on Black YouTube. I'm trying to encourage him to stay on and keep building with us. I think his voice is essential to what we trying to put forward in terms of pushing Black people forward in power. If you got a comment for him, come in. Um, and then, like my brother Kyle said, he gonna be going live in a little bit, and then y'all can jump on over there. Kyle, if you still here, put the link for your channel in the chat, and the people who are here can jump over there. But if you got a comment for our brother, jump on. We'll give him a few minutes and see if anybody got something for you. But you know, you've been getting a lot of praise in the chat, so man, you blew me away. So yeah, man, we definitely, even if you decide you still don't want to do the YouTube thing, since you're here in St. Louis, we still gonna have to link up, man. Let me take you out and get you a bite or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get some emos.
Real talk, real talk. So yeah, man, you definitely impressed the hell out of me. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a dope interview just because, like I said, I heard you put down your spiel before, but just being able to talk to you on my own, you blew me away, and I'm always blown away when young people have something profound to say. But just the whole thing, knowing you from where I'm from, and just hearing everything that you had to contribute. Yeah, man, your voice is definitely needed amongst our people, man. So, and you already know it's people your age who just lost, and not because they don't know who they is, because they don't know the value of themselves or they fellow man. And so we definitely need somebody like you to kind of, like I say, help somebody like me bridge that gap. Because what I like to do is, grab a young brother and tell him, hey man, you don't have to point that gun in that direction. Some brothers ain't gonna put that gun down because that's just part and parcel to who they is at that point. But I can show them, hey, you might want to point that gun in this direction, because instead of being a gangbanger, that brother can become a soldier. And then, it's some brothers who on the block selling a particular type of product. We can show them, hey, brother, I got a dealer's license. I go to the auction, I buy cars, I flip them. The same thing you're doing on this block, on this corner, you can do that at the car auction. Take that same mentality that you got on the corner and bring it to the car auction. You can open up you a cleaning company like I did. You can open up you a courier company like I did. You can get your 9-to-5 like I have. So all these things we can do to help these young men and young women get off of a particular trajectory of life and get them on a more positive one. And so, you definitely is somebody who I need in my corner to kind of help just show them, hey man, this is an example of the path you can be on as opposed to the one you on. So it don't look like we gonna have nobody jump in. You got any closing remarks?
The thing is that, we're trying to guide the youth into a right direction in terms of like criminality and violence. One thing that the Black community, so-called, I think would need to do is that we need to also have a focus on mental and psychological health, because I'm going to blow your mind with this. Did you know that 9 times out of 10, people who engage in criminal activities or organized crime, did you know that 9 out of 10 of them have ADHD?
Yeah.
Because scientists have came up and they've called ADHD the hunter's drug. I mean, the hunter's gene.
Mm-hmm.
These were the people who engaged. These were the people who were hunters and warriors. And so You know, a lot of people who are in the underworld have ADHD, so we need to try to find, I guess, mental health um facility. Even though it's not a, I don't, I get it confused because people who don't have ADHD are called neurotypical. I get that confused, but we need to, we have a mental health crisis. In the textbook that I had read, it's called Social Deviant. The poor, when you go in the poor areas, mental health and violence goes up. So we need to try to engage with them from a psychological, sociological level. So we can, give them certain exercises to engage in, and we could have that energy put towards, pugilism, all the high action activities.
Yeah, and that's you just hit another aspect that's super important because I don't know if I mentioned it to you. I have bipolar two disorder, and I'm super open about it because I think it's important to let people know that that's not something that will derail, your life. It's just something that you got to deal with. Um, but you have people who have bipolar one, bipolar two, who are schizophrenic, who have borderline personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and those things go untreated. And then when they find themselves in the environments that our youth find themselves in, then it can be exploited to a degree. You can make somebody a cold-blooded killer when they have a borderline personality disorder because just like for me with bipolar 2 disorder, my wife say it all the time. I don't have a middle ground. It is I rock with you or I don't. Like we good or we not. It's that simple. I don't have a lot of when it comes to people, I don't have a lot of ambiguity. I either rock with you or I don't. And so where my gray area comes in is being able to see the nuances in our people. Everybody ain't the same. My man Black Lion Supreme who just jumped on, we similar, but we ain't the same. My man Sabio, we similar. We have similar aspects and we have different aspects. You can't expect everybody to be and think like you and to do the same things you do. So I can see those grades, but when it comes to just being a stand-up man or a stand-up woman, you either are or you ain't with me. And so when you haven't been able to fully develop that, people can exploit it. And so, like I said, you can make somebody a stone cold killer, whether it's the army, whether it's the mob, whether it's a gang, whether a drug cartel, etc. If you can exploit those mental illnesses, if they go unchecked and untreated, and you can imagine in our community, I still got people in my family. I'm 46 years old. I didn't know about my situation since I was in my mid 30s, early to mid 30s, and I still got people saying I was possessed when this stuff first started manifesting in my early 20s. I was drinking too much. They don't want to accept that I got bipolar 2 disorder. You
You
see what I
know,
mean?
hmm
So
what Africans call like the culture people. You know what they call that there's a saying that I have found recently, but there's an African tribe that's in Gabon that's called the culture people, right? And what you find within that tribe is that ADHD is extremely prevalent within that tribe, and they call people with ADHD. They say they have the panther spirit, you know. So it's very interesting. Like it's very interesting. You know, you see people who are engaged in criminality, but they actually have undiagnosed mental problems. but that could be used for something very, positive. You know,
There it is. My man, Black Lion Supreme. What's up with you, bro?
what's up, sir?
Hotel, what's going on, family? How y'all doing?
You got it.
Good.
You
First
got
and
something for our
foremost,
young brother?
oh yeah, I got something for you too, fam. Let me let you know right now. No matter what your belief system is, no matter what you believe, you my brother. That's never gonna change. We
No
don't have
doubt.
to
No
agree
doubt.
on spiritual aspects or anything. I still got your back, no matter what.
No
My
doubt.
love for my family is unconditional. There's no
100%.
conditions for my love for my family.
No
To
doubt.
the young lion, bro, you're doing great. That was a great presentation from what I saw. Keep up the good work. I hope you stay around. I hope you keep teaching. But if you don't, my advice to you is just keep hitting the books, keep on advancing your intelligence, and you're gonna go a long way, fam. Because you already got a lot of knowledge right now at this age. I wish I was as advanced as you are at 24 when I was that age, bro. So you doing great. Keep up the good work. We got a big sports night over here today. We've got these NBA playoffs and then the fight tonight. So I'm not gonna be up here long. I just came to express my gratitude and my love for my brothers. And y'all keep up the good work.
No doubt. Likewise, bro,
Right
man. We
on.
we
You already
appreciate
know, fam.
it.
Hey, Black Lion,
Appreciate y'all. Yes, sir.
you gotta accept my friend request, man.
Oh, I got you, bro. I got you. No doubt. I don't be on there like I used to, but I got you for sure. I'll
Yeah.
get up there.
No
I got you.
doubt. No doubt. I appreciate
All
that,
right,
big bro.
fam. No,
All
no
right, man.
problem. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Hey, wait, real quick. Who you got, man? You got Tank?
Oh, you already know I got Tank, man. Come
No
on.
doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Hey,
You
it's
already know.
some people going for Garcia, man. I can't do it. I got to go with
Oh no,
Tank.
I can't do it. You know I gotta roll with the fam, bro, for sure.
No
You
doubt.
already know.
No doubt. No doubt. All
All
right,
right, my
man.
brothers. Peace.
Peace. Hotel. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna let you close out, man. And
Nobody
like
else trying to come in?
it don't look like it. It don't look like it, man. And like I say, I know Kyle started the show over on his channel, so I'm gonna let everybody get over there, and I'm gonna join on over there as well. You know, Dagger Squad got to support Dagger Squad. So,
Yeah,
but
Brother Garfield, he told me a couple months back that I am a honorary member of the Dagger Squad.
there it is. There it is. I agree. I agree 100%. I agree 100%, man. Come on in and become a full member. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, with that being said, I'm gonna let you close out. And hey, bro, I gotta have you back on, man. I got to have you back on. I'm gonna think of something, whether it's just you coming on a panel or we just do another show like this, man. This was a great deal. One of the better shows, one of the more refreshing shows I've done. Like, and from a personally gratifying sense, this was one of the better shows I've done, man. So I definitely appreciate it. My man Andre said he get him a second. He about to jump on, so
okay.
we'll wait for him. But yeah, man, this is one of the best shows I've actually had in a long time from a personal standpoint, man. It's
Yeah,
always
man. I liked how we build it and stuff too, man. You like a regular, you like my uncle, bro. Like it's really just, we hit it off, man. It's just really having a regular conversation. Like it wasn't even about politics or nothing. We just talking,
exactly. Yeah, I don't try to do if I can avoid the drama, I try to avoid the drama, man. I'm a regular cat. I tell people I'm not a YouTube dude. I'm a dude on YouTube. So I try to I'm me. Like who I am right now, that's who I am all the time. I'm not putting on a front for YouTube. I talk how I talk in real life. So yeah, this what you see is what you get. Like when we meet in person, because like I said, we're gonna hit up Kathy's Kitchen or something in St. Louis. But when we meet in real life, I'm the same cat I am on camera in real life. What's up to my master teacher, Reverend Dollar B. Green? What's going on with you, bro?
Hey, what up to y'all? Peace to the brother. Oh, quick question to you, bro. while I was on my way to the gym, I heard you say that Pan-Africanism is the Z, right? Um, as far as I guess the plan. So my question to you is, one, I'm just jumping on, so I haven't heard a lot of it. I heard some of it. So if I'm repeating something, just tell me. One, have you been to Africa? And two, since you're young, right? Because I was similar to you, and we all go through schools of thought, right? You happen to go through, I think you said Islam at one time.
Yes.
Sorry that it's windy out here, and I went, I was a Christian, but I studied when I say every school of thought I did. So my question to you is, have you been to Africa? And two, sorry about the wind. If you go to Africa, if you haven't, right, and you realize something, it's 54 plus countries, right? It's 54 countries of divided ideologies, tribalisms, and that maybe there is no Pan-Africanism within the actual continent. Would you then change your school of thought after that?
No,
Okay.
because I believe
Elaborate on why not. Okay.
because I believe that a few of us, I don't care if I'm the only one that's holding the line on Pan Africanism. I'll do it because Pan Af is either John Clark said it's either Pan Africanism or perish. And Frantz Fanon talked about how tribalism is enforced. That's tribalism, religion. Those are the things that keep us from doing what we have to do. And I believe that Pan Africanism, that's the political way that's going to save us, and it's the safest. Because if you look at Pan Africanists throughout history, none of these people were really assassinated. Like the AME Church, they weren't assassinated. They just was like, we want to go to Africa. Didn't nothing happen to them. Stokely Carmichael, really nothing happened to him. So I believe it's safe and it's practical. For us.
All right. So you said you believe it's safe and practical.
Yes.
You still there, Joy?
Oh, Wanda. Okay. I didn't know she was watching.
You still there, Joy?
Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
I don't know what happened. So I'll say, okay, so and that's cool. I get that you feel like that is practical. But what I'm saying is, how can I want to make it as plain as possible. So, all right, I'm not for or against it, right? But from my vantage point, me going over there, you see things in a slightly different light. Different currencies, different countries.
You went out again, bro.
I think it isn't a practical way for us to survive over here being more unified. Then I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying is it really more practical than us becoming more self-interested within our position over here first? Because charity does start at home, right? So you understand what I'm?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but okay. So you said, okay, I'm gonna tackle a few things. You said, do you think that it's more practical for us, meaning African Americans, to be worrying about at home first, meaning other African Americans, right?
It looked like we lost him.
Well, I'll still answer his question from what
Yeah.
I remember. Okay. I would say that I think that it's a bit.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. What was the last thing y'all heard me say, if anything?
Oh, I was just about to answer your
Damn.
first question. I think that I don't think it's a good idea to still try to invest in a country that is falling right now due to BRICS. You know, China is making their new currency, and the American dollar is, it's tumbling down right now. So I don't really think that it's I don't think it's practical to still stay over here. You know, even we weren't brought here to be Americans, so that's something that we have to still like grapple with. And number two,
Uh,
you wound up saying that what's up?
yeah. Well, you been to China, or do know that China got rich off of Americans, right? And their consumerism, their manufacturing is off our consumerism, right? You also know if you go to Africa, a lot of that territory is the same people that you just claimed that's trying to crash America, correct?
Yeah, I know
So,
that. There,
right. So, what is that's kind of synonymous at the same time that they're doing both. If what you say is true, then they're doing both. They're doing America and over there, right? Because they're buying up the land over there, right?
right. But China is honestly, from what I've noticed, is that they're doing
Uh huh.
they're doing the I word. So I think that Pan Africanism would be a great. It's a great fight against colonialism, but we still have to know how to say hi to each other first before anything can be actually like put into practice.
I agree with the high part 100%. I have to say hi to you over here first before I'm definitely looking to go 4,200 miles away and say hi to someone, right? Um, but and listen, I'm just asking because you said Pan Africanism was the Z, so I just wanted to get, that's all I wanted to know, brother. I don't want to take up much of your time because I know
Oh, it's all
this,
good, man.
yeah,
It's all good.
this gym has a bad, this Wi-Fi sucks, but
Oh, you
I just
work out?
wanted, yeah, every day, bro.
Oh
You know
man, I do about I'm trying to be a bronze era bodybuilder myself.
what I'm saying? Well, listen, you got DMG right there. DMG, y'all in St. Louis. There's some good gyms out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you need to come out there, I'm there, bro. I'll get a workout with y'all.
Hey,
Hey,
that's what's up.
I be a dungeon in my basement, man. But I just started taking Muay Thai and boxing, so we definitely can link up
Man, listen, I'll fly out there and we get that workout in. DMG will tell you I'm every day, bro. Every
every
day.
single not one day
Every
off,
day.
not
Every
one day
day,
off.
man. Matter of fact, bro, when I'm listen, true story. Like when I'm in Europe or Africa, you know what I do when I want to go to the gym? I go over there and act like I just moved over there. Like, yo, I just switch over my driver's license. Yo, they let you go. That's my little hustle. So any day you
Mm,
want, man.
okay. Yeah, we don't have to link up.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I go over to St. Louis, man. Kick it with y'all brothers, man. But yo, thank you, DMG, man. I just wanted to see what was the trying to get a gauge on what he was saying that it was the Z. So I
No,
appreciate that, man.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, appreciate you coming in, man.
Yep, no doubt.
Thank
All
you,
right.
brother.
Hey, real quick, Dre. You still there, Dre?
That man bench pressing 255 right now.
Yeah, I think he might be gone. Uh, but
Julanda,
go
she
ahead.
had. Hmm,
I was gonna say, go ahead and I'll finish what you were saying, and then I'm gonna let you close out.
okay. This sister Julanda, she had said, put a comment back on if you could.
Which one?
How many comment? What was she saying? Because I'm real curious. What was she saying this whole time?
Pan Africanism started outside of the continent, and she said, "This here is my home."
See, that's very sad for her to say that because we were not brought here for this to be our home. We were brought here to be worked to death. because the Native American population died of disease and smallpox. So see that's the double consciousness that Du Bois, had talked about. And, that's prevalent within all of our movements and civil rights leaders. That's why we can't, as African Americans, really make our mind up because for some reason we wake up saying one day we will be accepted as Americans, but we're not. And so I'm not beating up on her. I've heard about the sister before, so I'm being inside joke.
No,
Um,
that's a powerful sister. That's why I said I'm glad to see her in here. So, and I think it's just one of those things where uh, we have a like me and you talked about just those difference of opinions where I kind of shout out everybody at the beginning of the show because we can have those difference of opinions and still come to the same conclusion that we black people and those different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. That's where that statement at the beginning of the show come in, because you always gonna have people with different opinions, but the most important thing to me is that we as black people can come together and have these kind of conversations and just agree to disagree and disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. Because not everybody gonna be on board with what I say, with what you say, with what Teddy say, with what Andre say, etc. So
it, I think in terms of like, and this is like what I tend to notice, right? And that double cost. Okay. I'm gonna address that real fast. So hold on. Let me say what I have to say first. So when you look at every single social movement, right? And she said, "I can't be her." What is she talking about? I don't even know. Now she's. I don't know, man. For some reason, I don't know. I guess she like jumping up on me or something. I don't know. I don't know what type of effect I have on the sister right there, but she just it seems like she been going in all day. But so um, I would say when you study all revolutionary movements, right? Whether you're dealing with the Russian, French, uh, American, all these revolutions, right? There becomes a point where division is honestly necessary because when people get to the drawing board, I think it's necessary to know where people stand. So if here she is.
we got the queen in the
Um,
building. Queen in the building.
hello.
The
Um,
VB for Hodier, Black African Power. Peace to the
Black
panel. The chat.
power.
hello. I've heard a lot about you through the YouTube streets. It's nice that you're on here.
Yeah, I come running when people call my name out. You know what I'm saying? I think people already know how I operate. So,
Peace,
um,
peace, peace, queen. What you got for the young brother?
peace, queen. Well, the young brother is pretty awesome, very intelligent, very tenacious. His due diligence to the scholarship is, pretty pretty awesome, and that's something that we should continue to support and cultivate through these YouTube streets on these particular platforms, especially at that age. So yeah, I think the brother's pretty awesome. Um, I would just say stay open, be willing to always be open to constructive criticism, be open to correction, be open to learn, as as do I. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always learn from different spaces and different people, no matter what age or who they are. So it's always about the information. It's never personal. And I land. But thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the warm welcome. I appreciate it, DMG.
No doubt, no doubt. You want
And
to respond?
Adrian, sorry, Kuhani. Yeah. So when he, kind of pointed me out in the chat and made the comment and then talked about double consciousness, of course I had to respond. Come on now. What do I look like? Not doing that.
Exactly. Exactly.
But to the speaker that called before, I'm a self-proclaimed Pan-African, and that's something that's, is it pretty much it has designed who I am in this community, Pan-Africanism. And to the gentleman that was on earlier, people have to understand that Pan-Africanism was a outer continent creation of people of African descent, where it is a product of Africans in the diaspora for the most part. So when people always want to talk about, well, the people, the Africans on the continent, that's not always relevant. You get what I'm saying? Like, you kind of you deal in the spaces where you're welcome, for one, and that doesn't exclude the rest of the descendants of Africans who were involved in the African Holocaust in other parts of the world, and that's what it's about. And I have some other points for that, but I don't want to be too long with it. But to address the double
No, go ahead.
consciousness, the double conscious, that's fine and all. I have expanded and evolved my thought to say that what I would think would be an absolute, like 10 years ago, yeah, we need to get away from here, we moved to Africa, has kind of changed because I understand certain fundamentals a little bit better. And we are both African and American, but essentially we are a unique and particular group of people, and we have a unique circumstance. So we don't have to be boxed in where we have to be, just over here to do work or just over there. I feel that we are that bridge to do the work in both places, in different spaces, not just in America, not just on the continent of Africa, but globally. That is essentially what Pan-Africanism is. So as a, Florida Geechee, self-proclaimed, and I love my state and things of that nature, and being of Gullah Geechee descent, understanding that we are the foundation of this American culture. Like, there's Africanisms everywhere. We have synchronized all aspects of our culture in many ways. So this is our reality. This is our existence. This is our home. We do belong here, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it don't matter where we move. The political arena is not only set up here, but globally, in the sense that it harps on the liberation of Black African people or people who look like us. So, we can move back to Africa, we still gonna have some difficulties. So I just feel like, we just need to start where we stand and do the best we can to integrate ourselves in the political process, have seat on the tables, and start making strategic moves. And I yield.
Hey, listen. Hey, Tori, I'm tripping. Brother, I'm gonna let you respond, but I just gotta say, all hail the queen.
Thank you.
I'm surgical with this bitch, Jay. How you want it?
Go ahead and respond,
precise, bro. We want it precise. That's how.
No doubt. Oh, go ahead and respond, bro.
I would still say, like, how is this our home when our ancestors 500 years ago were kidnapped and brought here and were considered to be United States citizens?
You don't. Let me ask you this and see how both of y'all land on it, and then I'm gonna bring in our brother Yame. You don't think that we have earned the right to call this our home with the blood and the sweat and the tears that we've dropped into the soil that make up the foundation of this country? When you look at brick and mortar, the mortar of this nation is our blood, is the blood, sweat, and tears of not only our ancestors, but of us ourselves in 2023. You don't think we've earned that right to be able to say that?
Well, we would never be able to be called American because we weren't brought here to be American. We we it's like we're basically we were brought here for a specific purpose that did not involve being citizens. So I think that it is a bit. It's not. It's almost showing that the double consciousness is almost a colonial mental disorder. Like we're we're not like supposed to be like citizens. If we were brought here to be citizens, we would be benefiting from America. But it's like every so often, America or the system or the beast lets us know that we're not American to keep us in our place. It's like Stockholm syndrome. It's the as we pointed at the beginning of the video, it's that mentality.
Okay, okay. My brother in Yame is in the building, and before you talk, I gotta play this.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Go ahead, my brother.
Peace and power to the panel. What's good, DNT?
You got it, my brother. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah. I just want to say the brother has a lot of knowledge, especially learning about Fanon. And brother, you still very, very young. So there's so much, and I'm glad to see a young brother that's in it. We definitely need more and more young people in it. But you have to also understand 99% of black people didn't know who Fanon was in America. You don't learn this in just regular school. You have to go to college and then take an Africana studies before you really understand who Fanon was. And this movement that we see of the resurgence of Pan-Africanism or Sankofa, that happened in the YouTube and internet age. Before then, we wasn't really talking about Pan-Africanism. You might see somebody, when I was coming up, we wore the African symbols. It was more a fad. We just saw Malcolm X movie with Spike Lee. And so we had a little encouragement of who we was then, but our deep thinkers, no, we didn't have that education. This is something fairly new. And I always try to tell people at the high levels, the doctors and the masters in Africana studies, this knowledge is not getting to the street level. The brothers and the sisters in the hood, they're not getting this knowledge. So we need brothers like you who can speak to the younger people, because they see me coming, here come this old head. What you got to say? But a brother like you, why are you into? They're gonna ask you why are you getting into that? So you're the bridge of that knowledge coming from the academic level to the street, because it's gonna change in the street. It's not gonna change in college. It's not gonna change on YouTube. When this message gets to the street, that's when it's gonna change at that level. So stay encouraged, because you're gonna be frustrated. When you deal with black people, you have to understand there's a lot that comes with that, and frustration is a part of it. So stay humble and just continue doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
100%.
I would say, one of the
Ashe.
things
I
that
concur.
you trying to say something?
Go ahead and finish up, bro.
We were all saying that we agreed with him and we concur with him.
Yeah.
I would say that, in order for, like the knowledge that we all have to hit, from the regular black person, that's on the street to the Eiffel Tower, is that I would say that, black people, we're going to have to create a culture to where we, we, we get into STEM, we get into the social sciences, and, we start saying hi to each other without any like backlash. because we have to build the family back up. That's one. And once we build the family back up, then we can start to coddle people with a particular mindset to push the goalpost forward, because I can't necessarily do it alone. And people like us, we're kind of a minority. So you know we have to create a culture, a revolutionary culture, to be more precise.
Right, I
We got
agree. That's one of my biggest things. It's got to be with the culture. And so the most important piece, like on the chessboard, even though it's to check the king, but that queen is,
The queen.
you got to get her out the way before you get to the king. And so to
100.
rebuild that culture, it is building that black woman up again, respecting the
Absolutely.
black woman once again. And I think
Absolutely.
that's
Facts.
important. I think that's important. And then
To
go ahead, go ahead.
if I may, to all the black men that's listening, you got all this manosphere stuff and all of this other rhetoric where you got a lot of black men that got a lot of negative BS to say about black women. Don't get caught up in the foolishness. The backbone of our households, the backbone of our community is our black women. And if you don't respect your queens, you don't respect yourself. And I stand on that, debate it, discuss it, whatever, with anybody. But go ahead, and Yame, my bad.
So that's all I was saying. And if it's culture, if we're talking culture, we're talking about the black woman. That's where it comes from. I can give a philosophical view. I can be I can be a revolutionary, run around with guns. But if it doesn't get to the black woman, it doesn't get to the children. It just doesn't. When we begin to just make a place where she can thrive in her natural Africanness, that's when the culture is going to change. But I'm encouraged when I see young brothers like yourself in it. It's encouraging. It really is, because that's the goal. That's the goal. But the important piece, if you really focus on the culture, you have to understand that it has to come through the woman. Whatever we need to do. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and you know just fall at every woman's, because every woman is not in her right mind. So I'm not saying every woman, just follow what she's saying. But I'm saying if we're gonna build a culture, it start with that black woman, making sure her right mind is protected, making sure that she's encouraged, that we're not trying to bash her. 'Cause I remember you probably was a baby, and like the DMG is saying, I got 3 kids in their young 30s. When I was coming up, I started listening to rap music, and there was some women who said, "Man, this music is misogynistic and it's denigrating black women." And I was like, "Oh, shut up! Why y'all always worry about what we do? Don't you got something to do?" And when I go back and look, I said, "Man, those women were right. They was correct. They was correct on what they was saying about the music. But we were so hard headed, we didn't want to listen until it got out of hand. And now I can see, man, yeah, the music was misogynistic, and it did denigrate black women.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even as a young person, we just got to listen to the older people. You just sit and listen, just be humble and listen to what they're saying, and it might help in the long run. But you're in the right direction. I'm not focusing on you. I'm just focusing on the you. That if we could just change our perception of black women, the black family, and black culture, that's revolutionary in itself. That's a revolutionary move. And I'll close out with that.
No doubt. And as always, my brother, I definitely appreciate your input, and you always bring some wisdom and some knowledge with everything you say. And like I told you, you are 100% always welcome to come on my platform and speak your speech. You got carte blanche. Play it one more time.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
We got my brother, my longtime brother. This is one of the first brothers I met when I started getting in these YouTube streets. The God body, Marlon Simmons. Hey, you see Sue Tech in the chat going at you. What's going on?
What's going on, brother?
Been a long time, man.
Oh man, we still tight like a chain and rope, man. We ain't gonna never let that go, no matter what, bro. Always. But yeah, the young.
You went out, Marlon. You went out. You still there? Oh, okay, we lost brother Marlon. Oh, all right, we got him back. Look like he having some issues with his connection. I see it's just spinning. So yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up with my brother another time. But and then look at Sutek talking about that's because he's pseudo. He's stupid. but
going in on people in the group chat.
Yeah, he do. All right, I think we got our brother back.
My fault, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just want to say that brother right there reminds me of me, just on the other side. You know how I am, DMG. You know,
no.
I got a passion for my people, and I bring it straight to the table. But he's the leader, and I will follow him and I will help him, because yeah, that's the type of leader we need right there, with the tenacity. But he knows how to deliver what he wants to get. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He'll make people understand him with no problem. So I definitely, I'm behind that brother 100%. I like what he about. He's me on the flip side. I dig him. I dig him.
Hey, I didn't realize, and look like he dropped off again, but okay. I didn't realize the young brother was as young as he is, and then I didn't even know we was in the same city. So, you know, I'm hyped. I told him, I said, yeah, man, we gonna link up, man. Go get something to eat. Even if he don't do the YouTube thing no more, we definitely gonna link up and build. So
yeah, definitely. And I mean, I would try to get with him too, and try to work with him. I mean, spread that out here, and so I got a couple of little things going on out here with kids and young, because it's crazy, man. I mean, I'll be talking to them, and I'll pull them in like, come on, man, really, this ain't the way it's supposed to be. Like you said, we killing our own soldiers, man. How we gonna win a war? We killing all our soldiers, man. How we gonna unify?
You know, I'm an old man, Marlon. I'm 46, so whenever I see a young man going in a positive direction and not making the same knuckleheaded mistakes I was making when I was his age, I'm more than elated to give any input I can to keep him on that positive track. So any assistance I can be to the brother, I'm gonna try to do that. But Marlon, I see you having some connection issues. I'm gonna go ahead and get with you later, my brother, and my sister, my queen. Go ahead and close out for us, and we're gonna let the brother close out once you get there. Oh, did you want to respond to the brother? Go ahead, Tor. Go ahead, bro.
You know, I think the age thing. It's not really. I think everybody has the will to change. I think we have to guide them, a certain way. And my baby's 47 too, so it's we can't give up on nobody.
No, most definitely not. But I ain't gonna lie to you. If I see somebody that's my age and they continue to perpetuate a certain type of behavior, I'm gonna be less prone to continue to repeat myself and be redundant with positive input after a while. That's just what it is. I'm not gonna necessarily give up, but I ain't gonna continue to repeat myself either. So that's just how it is. Because at my age, if somebody is telling me something that's good for me, I'm not gonna reject that input. And so I think that it's not a bad thing or a less intelligent thing for me to expect the same from my peers when I'm trying to get them some positive input, especially when I know that it's positive. Hey man, you might want to put you got 5 DUIs. You might want to put that bottle down while you at least when you're driving.
Right.
You understand? Like at some point, you might want to listen to that. So that's all I mean by that. But the reason that at my age I get hyped when I see somebody your age that's headed in a positive track or in a positive light is because when I was your age, I was full of piss and vinegar. I was still married to my queen, but she'll tell you she liked me a lot better now than she did 22 years ago, and without having to elaborate. So because I was a lot less mature than I am now, and so that's all it come down to, man. So I'm just happy to see any young man on a positive track when I know it could go a whole different way. So let's let the queen close out, and then we'll let you close this thing out and get over there and see what our brother Kyle doing.
Thank you, DMG. First, I'd like to address Brother Kuhani. Keep up the due diligence to the scholarship. Keep up this fight and your tenaciousness and your consistency, your passion for true Black African liberation, and continue to surround yourself with like-minded, intelligent brothers as DMG here and others that were on the panel and others in the community, but also do that in real life, not just in these YouTube streets. Like, we have to make real live connections while we are moving in these spaces, and that's important to have balance. But I will say this to the panel and to the chat, to anyone's listening, it's time for us to continue to move forward, to evolve these concepts of African ideology. I like to think that I'm help promoting things that are positive, such as space age Africans. That means something, because that means that we abide to scientifically literate aspect. And these things are important for us to move forward, for us to evolve, for us to create solutions to some of the problems we have. And in my thought and opinion, that is truly going to be our greatest tool for true Black African liberation. And I yield.
Oh, no doubt. We definitely appreciate you coming on and giving your input, Queen, and you're welcome anytime. My brother, go ahead and close us out.
I'm just full of emotion. It's going to be the last, YouTube video I'm going to do forever. And it's just, I had fun being in this community for a year. Had a lot of fun. I met a woman who has my heart right now. I made a lot of friends. I made some really good friends.
No doubt. And you say you met a woman that has your heart. That's what's up.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yes.
That's what's up. Hey, that you winning right there. So it is what it is. But if it's anything else you're doing on social media, let people know where to find you and things of that nature, or anything you got coming up. If that's something you want to share.
My Facebook name is my name, Kuhani Mwadilifu. It's Swahili for priest who is righteous, and that's my Facebook handle. So.
Okay. There it is. There it is. Hey, support this young brother any way you can. You got a cash app you want to give out or anything like that?
If there is someone's cash app that should be given out, let it be Juwanda's.
Okay. Queen, you
Yolanda,
want to put cash app in the chat?
yeah, put her cash app
No,
in.
I will decline, but thank you. I
Okay.
really appreciate that. That's so sweet.
Okay. Okay.
I do
And
this because this is what I live by. You know what I'm saying?
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no
Thank you,
doubt.
Kuhani. Thank you, brother Kuhani.
You
And,
welcome.
see, and the young brother is a gentleman as well. Like, look at this.
Absolutely.
I mean, what? I don't. I'm overwhelmed right now. What's up, Trey? You back? You got something else for us? We can't hear you, bro. Dre might have pocket dialed back in. He don't still be working out. All right, family. So look, that being said, this has been another episode of Paradigm Shift TV 314. Y'all know what it is. If you're black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. We will be black at it again. Until next time, this is your brother DMG, aka Brother Pianki. I appreciate everybody that came on. Shout out to this young king for coming in and building with us. He say he retiring from these YouTube streets, but I'm gonna get him to come back on. Shout out to the queen, Yolanda, for coming to join us, and hopefully y'all will see her again. And with that being said, we are out. That's peace. And like I said, we'll be black at it. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We out. Peace.
Peace.